One of the realest niggas ever born, made from a different form, created from a different cloth. These other niggas soft, I be laughing at your profiles and Soldier Boy styles. Man, you worse than Mike Jones, keep repeating yourself.
I want to introduce all of you to Vince Bryant. Vince is, I always refer to him as the lyrical assassin, because when you listen to his music, honestly, that's what he is. Not just because he's a ex-Marine combat veteran, but his music, when you listen to it, he seriously is an assassin on those tracks, and just showing people I can kill you easily and with confidence on anything that I do. Ladies, he also has songs for you that are extremely sensual, and I think in a way that's kind of assassination too. It's emotional assassination. He's clever with it, very artistic. Vince, thank you again for...
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
One of the things that I want to talk to you about and get your perspective, so that, you know, the perspective that's not just coming from me, is, do you think hip-hop is dead today?
Always, I always get that question from, you know, a lot of my hip-hop friends who, you know, is real diehard hip-hop fans. Is hip-hop dead? Hip-hop is not dead. The industry, as far as the bullshit, and I know you don't cuss in your interviews, but you know how I get down. Hip-hop is not dead. It's just not being publicized as much as, you know, what we're hearing on the radio and, you know, what the industry deems, you know what I mean, as being hot. So no, hip-hop is not dead. It's a lot of us out here that's still holding true to the culture of hip-hop. It's just we're not really being promoted, and we know there's an unseen hand that refuses to promote good music because, you know, nowadays it's all about the dollar and, you know, how many niggas you can kill, how much weed you can smoke, you know, and how many females you can get, and that, you know, making it rain and all that other foolishness. But it's more to hip-hop than you know, what we've been allowed to see.
I agree with you on that.
I don't know how much to answer your question, but as far as I'm concerned, hip-hop is not dead. I know Nas said that hip-hop is dead, but when Nas said it, you have to really understand the concept of why he said hip-hop is dead. He was speaking on behalf of how we have went from the culture and understanding the lifestyle of hip-hop to bullshit. You know what I mean? And like I said, later on in this interview, I'll discuss, you know, the variation between what was hip hop and, you know, what we're seeing now as far as what the industry think hip hop is. You know what I mean?
What can you say about the state of hip hop in the Houston area?
Hip hop in Houston, I'm just gonna be straight real about it. You know, that shit was a fad. I remember I was in Iraq, I think on my second tour, and I was just coming back from a mission. And normally when we come back from a mission, you know, we kind of have a little briefing, and then, you know, if we have access to the email, anything, we go and check. Well, I get to my email, and it was just this one day I had a bunch of emails. I was like, man, okay, people just now realizing I'm out here. Well, the emails were all saying the same thing. So, I ran through them, and then I get to my producer, one of the producers, Sadiq, and he sent me an email. I think it was Sadiq, but I know it was a close friend of mine that know what I represent. He said, man, guess what? Guess who got a deal? And I replied back to him, and he tell me Mike Jones. I said, well, who signed him? I said, man, you got to be kidding, man. They gave that dude, of all people, all the talent in Houston. They skipped over everybody else and gave him a deal. He said, nah, man, I'm serious. That dude got a deal. So I was like, man, nah, we done went from Scarface to Mike Jones. You know, and that's no hating. I want to add balance to that. That's not hating against him, because I'm not hating on something that I'm better than. I'm saying that right when that happened lets me know two things: the A&Rs are skipping over the real talent, and two, they all out here about money. So they would rather sign somebody that repeat their name 1,000 times versus somebody that's repeating knowledge and street knowledge like Scarface was doing. They'd rather sign that over real talent. You know what I mean? And, it just kind of pissed me off. So as soon as I got back, from the war, I got back in the studio combating that. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, you heard a lot of my music, so you know why I do certain things. It's for that same mentality I have to keep fighting on the behalf of hip-hop. And don't get it twisted. I'm not tripping. Everybody got to eat. You got to put money in your kid's mouth. But it's a different thing with me. I'm not in this for the money. Of course I want to get paid, obviously. But I'm in it to give a message out to our people. A lot of people say, oh, people ain't trying to hear that preachy type stuff. Well, you ain't got to preach the whole album. But what I'm saying is balance out what you're doing. Don't do a whole album full of repeating your name 1,000 times, talking about the same stuff over and over again that's becoming redundant. And what the industry is doing now, not to go off on a tangent, but what the industry is doing now, they're capitalizing on our ignorance. Right now, and I'm going to use a surah, which means verse, from the Quran. It says, we will be living in a time where evil will be made fair seeming. Now let me break that down in ghetto language, meaning we will be living in a time where it's cool to be stupid. Now it's cool to be stupid. Now it's cool to come up with a little dance and wear some tight skinny jeans and you gangster.
I'm a jerk.
I'm a jerk, and you got grown dudes, and I be in the club, you know what I'm saying? I know how to boogie, but at the same time, you got grown dudes coming to the club all buff, laying up against the bar, but as soon as you hear some Soulja Boy bullshit come on, then I'm back, I'm on the floor, and they beating the females to the floor, dancing like a broad. So it's a lot of funny shit that's going on in the industry right now that's making it bad for, artists, like myself and many other talented artists in Houston. K-Reno, one of the top, if not the top lyricists in Houston, got over 12, 13 albums. Why no major labels come to him? Because he don't have a dance to go along with what he's talking about. He's talking about something to raise the conscious level of our people. Why they don't come to Vince Bryant? I'm not just saying it because my music hot. Because I've sat with Universal, I sat with a lot, Interscope, and all they keep telling me, oh man, your stuff is hot. Okay, I already know it's hot. What you want to do with it? Well, can you do a little bit of this? No compromise. I rather put my stuff out myself than tap dance for the industry. Eventually I'll get a deal, but it's no compromise here. So it's just a lot of funny stuff that I'll be seeing that people scared to address. And Houston in general know, that good feeling we used to get when Rap-A-Lot used to put out their music. We hear the Ghetto Boys, we ought to be ready to ride because they be talking about real stuff that we are dealing with on a day-to-day basis. They wasn't dancing and forgetting that, hey, there's people out in the streets, doing real live shit that need to be, brought to a mass level. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with having fun. All I'm saying is balance it out. You know what I'm saying? So, and also hire better A&Rs who understand real talent. You know what I mean? So.
Do you think that the consumer market has anything to do with
yes,
what's being played and what's hot?
Yes and no. I use, for example, well, let me say this. I think the radio has a lot to do with it too. You can play bullshit so much to you get in a position where you force feeding the people. I talk to people on the streets, I'll be like, man, do y'all really listen to that? A lot of people say, man, that's all they playing. So psychologically, you programming us to accept bullshit. You know that shit ain't hot. You know, and you hear like producers do good beats, and then you get somebody to come over it that's just talking about nothing, but because they got a nice little hook and a dance to go with it, then, you know, that's acceptable. But to answer your question, yes, the consumers play an indirect role because they're being programmed to think that it's hot. You play something over and over again. You're brainwashing them. Your brain, okay, let's play this over. Now, you're used to hearing it, so psychologically you believe.
Vince Bryant, one of a kind, I put these rappers in a bind. I'm divine when it comes to this rhyme. Must I remind you, Vince be making hits when he rhyme. Plus I rock to it, talking on the sideline, I put a stop to it. I'm a ladies